All right. Okay, let's start. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupah Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Manojavam Marutatuल्य Vegam Jitendriyam Buddhimatam Varishtham Vatatmajam Vanarayutamukhyam Sriramadutam Shirasa Namami Kujantam Rama Rameti Madhuram Madhuraksharam Aruhya Kavita Shakham Vande Valmiki Kokilam Apadam Apahartaram Dataram Sarvasampadam Lokabhiramam Shriramam Bhuyo Bhuyo Namamyaham Dakshine Lakshmano Yasya Vame Cha Janakatmaja Purato Marutir Yasya Tam Vande Raghunandanam. Welcome back. Nice to see all of your names here. I don't see anyone, but I see your names. So thank you for joining back. I know we have not met in what, 8 weeks, almost 7 weeks. And I'm sure it was wonderful 7 week holiday. And now we're back again. And we'll pick up right where we had left off. And where we had left off is in Aranya Kanda. We had completed chapter 60 or thereabouts, where Sri Ramachandra is now in almost a sense of desperation because he has returned after killing Maricha. He meets Lakshmana on the way. He's surprised, upset, and disappointed that Lakshmana is there without Sitadevi. And he is concerned that in the forest, how could she be left alone? Because the forest is a place of constant danger. Padam, padam, yet vipadam. And so he admonishes Lakshmana for having left her. And Lakshmana explains his reasons why he had to. And Sri Ramachandra says, just because she said a few words to you, which obviously are not very palatable, but still you left your duty because of that. And Lakshmana then expresses why things could have gotten worse. And so, in a sense of frantic desperation, I guess, Ramachandra and Lakshmana return to where they were and now are searching. Ramachandra runs into the hermitage, does not find her, comes out and cannot see her. So he is in inconsolable agony. And that's where we had left our discussion. I'm going to pick it up right there. This is chapter 60. And one of the feedback I have received, not one, but multiple, that the style of shloka and speaking, not everyone is necessarily connecting. So for now, I'm going to try just narrating the story of it. And in between, if there is some verse that we feel is like a mantra or a statement that we can hold on to as part of our bhakti practices, I will say it. Otherwise, we'll narrate the story. So this chapter is where Sri Ramachandra, as I said, in his inconsolable agony in separation from Sita Devi, does things that are not considered ordinarily sane from a human context. Now, I'm going to take our attention to Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, in which there are multiple verses and episodes where the symptoms of someone who is in ecstasy of love, of separation from Sri Krishna, experiences and expresses or exhibits certain vikaras or transformations of the body. They are called Ashta Sattvika Vikara, 8 types of existential or 8 types of expressions. And one who has become fully absorbed in the holy name of the Lord, the name means the person, obviously. Also, it says, there are verses that they laugh, they cry, they roll on the floor, very much like a mad person. Because love in separation is maddening. Of course, now I'm speaking far beyond my league, but these are theoretical words as far as I am concerned. Yet, these are realities that by the grace of our Guru Parampara, one day or one lifetime, we may have something to experience. Not right now for me, but sometime. And so what happens is one behaves in a way that cannot be rationalized. It defies reason, logic, and rationality. And that was what was exhibited by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as Srimati Radharani in the mood of separation from Krishna. Here, the roles are switched. This is Sri Ramachandra in the mood of separation from Sita Devi. And both is fine. Since we take the role of devotee, our object of affection is Sri Ramachandra or Sri Krishna. And here, Sri Ramachandra's sense of separation from his consort. So they're very similar. And the reasons they're similar is what's about to follow. Ramachandra's agony of separation now manifested in such a way that he would run here and there and begin to speak with the trees. He would speak to the creepers and the birds, because every day Sita Devi would approach these trees and creepers and pluck their flowers to bring back for Sri Ramachandra's worship. She would make sounds that are very similar to the cooing of the different birds. That's how they enjoyed being in the forest. The birds would make their calls and she would reply back and respond in those tunes. Just the way Sri Krishna and his friends, when roaming around the forest of Vrindavan, every day would make the sounds of different birds. Then Sri Ramachandra runs without any sense of order to the different places that she would visit every day to collect flowers, water, and other paraphernalia required for each day's worship. And Ramachandra thinks maybe she may be in one of these places. So he runs to the river. He comes back, he goes to these trees where there's certain types of flowers she would collect. Then he would go and find where she would pick grass for their seating. Then Ramachandra said, I can't find Sita. Maybe Sita Devi is playing a prank on me. It's part of the sense of romance that she is hiding and he has to find her. She's pranking him. And Maybe she's hiding in some of the groves and wants me to look for her. And so he goes frantically from one grove to another, searching for her, but can't find her. And then he starts to think of the worst situation. Oh, maybe she was searching for something and got lost in this dense forest. Oh, maybe she was eaten up by a Rakshasa, because the forest is full of man-eating Rakshasas. Or maybe she was kidnapped by a Rakshasa. Who knows? Anything could have happened. And he shifts between searching for her and thinking about the worst. There are people amongst us, like some of us, when something happens, let's say a relative or a friend or someone we know, or even for ourselves, we have to go to a doctor or something, and the mind starts telling us like the worst situations that can happen to us. And we already assume, oh, it may be such and such very intense disease, life threatening, terminal something. It may not be the case, but the mind tends to imagine or exaggerate, or in one sense prepare ourselves for it. So Sri Ramachandra also thinks, oh, maybe she got eaten up by Rakshasa, maybe she was lost, maybe she was kidnapped, maybe she's just hiding, who knows what's. And it's a complete I would say disarray. Although the Supreme Lord's mind is always under his control, these are ecstasies. And when he cannot find her, he sits down in a very morose way, and he considers that his life is useless without her. And he wonders why he should even continue living in her absence. He turns to Lakshmana and he considers, if I die out of separation from Sitadevi, I may meet Dasharatha in the heavens, and Dasharatha will question me or admonish me on my carelessness, that Sita Devi was supposed to be in your care and you have neglected your duty. He considers that Dasharatha might say, I sent you to the forest for 14 years with the condition that you will return. But you couldn't keep up your commitment to return to Ayodhya. Then he may further doubt and say, what kind of legacy have you left in the Ikshvaku dynasty and the Videha kingdom? Ramachandra, you come in the dynasty of Ikshvaku, Raghu, some great, great kings, and they have done things that, despite the difficulties that they have to face, Bhagiratha, Amshuman, Dilipa, all these great, great kings, and you have left behind, you almost as if you've bought a stigma or a black mark on the Ikshvaku dynasty. Ramachandra, you have not kept your promise, though you are known for keeping your word. So it may put a black mark on your character. Then Sri Ramachandra placed both his hands on Lakshmana's, according to Valmiki Rishi, Lakshmana's ever successful shoulders, and cried piteously. The idea of Lakshmana's ever successful shoulders means that Lakshmana was such an able person that he could easily and successfully meet any challenge. And however difficult the situation might be, Lakshmana knows how to overcome it. Therefore, the ever successful shoulders. And when Lakshmana saw his older brother Sri Ramachandra cry piteously, Lakshmana didn't know, in one sense, how to not, of course, from a tattva perspective, it is ecstasy. But as part of the Leela, Lakshmana is now thinking of how to console his brother. And he would say, Sri Ramachandra, if you like, let's start searching the entire area in a very systematic way. Because by crying, we can't help the situation. And as soon as Lakshmana said this way, Sri Ramachandra composed himself and gathered himself, and both of them began searching the area and went searching from there on to the mountains, the forests, the gardens, lakes, rivers, etc., and started looking everywhere. It was like a search party, calling out Sita's name, looking for every little place where possibly she may have gone. Maybe she was lost. Maybe there was a pit, a well covered by grass. It's called Andhakupam, and maybe she fell into it. Who knows? Who knows what must have happened? And while they were searching, Lakshmana assured Sri Ramachandra that somehow or the other he will find Sita back and bring her, just the way Vishnu retrieved the earth from Bali Maharaj. That's the analogy provided. When Bali Maharaj had taken away the entire earthly kingdom, in fact, even the heavenly kingdom from Indra, Indra had no recourse. He had to actually retreat from the back door. And then when Sri Vamanadev appeared, Vamanadev was very, very successful in retrieving Bhudevi back from Bali Maharaj. Similarly, Sitadevi, who's also a consort of the Supreme Lord, will eventually be recovered. Hearing this, Sri Ramachandra said to Lakshmana, I have lost all hope. There is no way I can find Sita. And once again, the moment he heard that she has to be retrieved or she's lost and they're separated, immediately he went back into his swoons of ecstasy of separation. He fell onto the ground and started crying loudly, Hey Sita, hey Sita. That's all he could say. Then Lakshmana again ran up to Ramachandra with folded palms and tried to console Sri Ramachandra in different ways, but all were unsuccessful. Ramachandra was just not going to come out of that ecstasy of separation, that pain of not finding Sita Devi, and concerned of what must have happened to her. So with this very intense pain, Valmiki Muni ends chapter 61. And the 62 is a continuation. So not being able to find Sita Devi, Sri Ramachandra's two beautiful eyes, which are like lotus petals, began to turn red because of crying. And not only were they shaped like lotus, now they became red like lotus petals. And now Ramachandra raised his arms up and loudly started calling for Sita Devi. Hey Sita, hey Sita. Therefore, we remember Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the only deity form that we worship Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in most of the time is with his arms raised, calling for Krishna in the mood of Srimati Radharani. So just the way Srimati Radharani is calling out, Hey Krishna, where are you? Here, Sri Ramachandra is calling out for his consort. Hey Sita, where are you? I don't know where you are. I can't find you. Very similar moods. Then Valmiki Muni says, Pashyan ivachatam sitam apashyan madana arditaha uvacha raghavo vakyam vilapa ashraya durvachanam. Unable to see her, but speaking as though he is seeing her, Sri Rama's speech became inarticulate as he was being tormented by Cupid. Madana Ardita. Madana Ardita means Cupid was literally crushing his heart. Sitam apashyam Pashyan Evacha. Although he's not able to see Sita, he's just looking into the forest and talking to Sitadevi. Sita! And having this whole conversation with Sitadevi. It's part of the madness, I guess. Uvacha Raghavo Vakyam. He was speaking words, Vilapa Ashraya, because he is under the influence of Vilapa. Vilapa is agony. And Durvachanam. Ramachandra never speaks words, one that don't make sense or that he's not articulate. He is the most articulate personality. Yet, because of Vilapa, his words did not make any sense. They were inarticulate. He was mumbling something. And part of this mumbling is, this is what he's saying. He's talking to Sita, who's not there, but as if she's there. I know you like different flowers. And now I think that you and this Ashoka tree are together tormenting me. So now he's going to different trees from which she would pluck flowers. The first is the Ashoka tree. And it's interestingly, Ashoka tree. Shoka means lamentation. Ashoka is one that relieves lamentation, free from lamentation. So he's going to the Ashoka tree and crying to Sita that somehow you and the Ashoka tree now are tormenting me together. Because Sita and the Ashoka tree are supposed to make my heart joyful, but they're burning my heart. Then he says, I can see you hiding behind the banana tree as you try to camouflage your thighs, because your thighs are resembling banana tree stems, sturdy and very elegant and shiny. But I cannot distinguish between the banana tree or banana plant stem and your thighs. Are you there? Are you not there? The gopis, when they looked all over Vrindavan, they would see the black tamala tree and run towards those trees, because those trees reminded them of, in fact, they saw Krishna. The black color of the tree, they only saw Krishna. They didn't see a tamal tree. Here Ramachandra is saying, although you're trying to camouflage yourself behind a banana tree, I can see you. Then he says, I can see and I can sense that you are in the Karnikara forest and you're laughing, because the Karnikara flower is such that it reminds him of the laughing of Sita. He says, stop tormenting me, Sita. I'm exhausted searching for you. And you seem heartless that you are continuing the prank, the joke on me, making it more and more difficult to search for you. I'm exhausted. Sri Ramchandra can never be exhausted. He's called a Klishta Karmana. But such is the nature of his love for her, or their love for each other. And then he says, I know, Sita, you like to have fun, but I'm not able to keep up. Please come back to the hermitage. Please come back. Then he turns to Lakshmana. He says, Lakshmana, I think Sita must have been eaten or abducted. And that's why she's not responding to my calls. And now he goes to how he's going to face Janaka. First, he was like, how am I going to face Dasharath Maharaj if I kill myself or end my life? Dasharatha will admonish me. And now he's concerned how Janaka will respond. Because as soon as Janaka will see me, if I return back to Ayodhya without Sita, Janaka is going to be there to welcome me back. And the first thing he'll ask is, where's my daughter, Sitadevi? And if I tell him how she was abducted, he'll be devastated. And then people will think that I am not man enough to protect my own wife. How will anyone else feel sheltered and cared for under my rule? They'll say, if you can't take care of your own wife, how you'll take care of so many of us? So then he says to Lakshmana, I think this is what we should do. you returned to Ayodhya just now. Go back. And I'm going to stay back here in the forest and end my life, give up my life because there is no hope. Bharata can become the king. He can continue to rule the earth like he's been doing all these years. He can just continue. Please offer my obeisances to all the mothers that are there, Kausalya, Sumitra, Kaikeyi. And please narrate the details of Sita's abduction to them so that they may not admonish me too much or not necessarily lay the entire blame on me. And when they know, it will also help them understand that I tried my best. So Lakshmana, you should return to Ayodhya right away. Please go. Hearing this, even Lakshmana became so despondent because he couldn't console his own brother. So the paradox here, contradiction here is, although Lakshmana is referred to as the one with the ever successful shoulders, even that Lakshmana could not console Sri Ramachandra. And Ramachandra's despondency in missing Sitadevi. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the Antilila or the later section of his manifest pastimes would be in the Gambhira, not far from Jagannath Puri temple. Every day they would hear him loudly cry, speak something incoherent, scratch the floor with his nails, and they would begin to bleed. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his body would transform into a lump of flesh, and then all the hands and legs would become merged into his torso. Suddenly, all the joints would not be connected to each other. And he would cry and cry and cry, and Swarup Damodar Goswami and the Ramananda Rai and other associates who were there just were helpless. They didn't know what to do. Every night, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would be absent from the Gambhira, and they would have to search the entire Jagannath Puri for him and sometimes not find him. Once Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ran away into the ocean thinking it was the Yamuna river and that Krishna may be on the other side, or ran into it and fell into the ocean. A fisherman found him in his net and brought him back. And so the devotees put Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to rest in the Gambhira, and from the outside locked the door. This is the personality of Godhead, their worshipable master, but they locked him inside a room, hoping that he will not run away somewhere and cause harm to himself, because they would not be able to tolerate the sense of separation from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu if something happened to him. And despite locking the door from outside, next morning, they would open the door to greet him and see how he is. He would not be there. He would have escaped in search for Sita. So the pangs of separation were to such an intensity that others didn't know what to do. They were at a complete loss. And so the entire chapter 63 is a continuation of this lamentation in separation. Very, very intense and painful. And so we've come to 63rd chapter, similar phraseology. And now they have to figure out what else to do. And that's where we're going to stop for today and see if you have any questions, comments, reflections you want to share, something that stood out for you particularly.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu Dandot Pranam. This is Eagle Kishore Das.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji, I have one question, and it has been there for quite a while, and today somehow the context also appeared here that Lord Ramchandra says that if I die here, I'll go to heavenly planets. And if I remember correctly from Mahabharata, also the references are given that the highest planet or highest destination is only heavenly planet. So how do we understand that even Lord Ram directly saying that it's a heavenly planet? So it appears that heavenly planet seems to be a highest destination.
So let's hear this from two perspectives. First, the idea is of going to a higher realm. That's all it is. It doesn't necessarily say, oh, Swargaloka, Japaloka, Tapaloka, nothing. The specificity is what Sanatan Goswami and the Vyasadeva gives us, so we understand that there are realms. From where he's talking, he's referring to a higher realm. Sometimes the word Swarga is indicated for higher realms, not specific realm, but higher realms. So that's one. Second, Ramachandra obviously won't say, I'm going to go to hell, because he hasn't done anything that is going to take him to a hellish place. So naturally, as a Kshatriya and a very dutiful, pious, pure Kshatriya, he will be elevated to a higher realm. Third, out of Ramachandra's humility, he's not going to say, oh, in separation of Sitadevi, I'm going to give up my life. And guess what? I'm going to go back to the eternal spiritual Vaikuntha. But he can't say that. One, humility will not allow him to say. Second, he cannot reveal his identity as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, as a human being, he's speaking, he will constantly hide his identity, just the way Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would always hide his identity. The moment someone would say, oh, you're the personality of Godhead, he would cover his ears, say Vishnu, 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 and jump into the Ganges. So even from that perspective, Sri Ramachandra is not going to say, so even if the conversation were like this, imagine, it doesn't make any sense, but that's how it would sound. Oh, Lakshmana, if I give up my life, I think I should go back to Tapoloka, and in Tapoloka, I will cry. Doesn't make any sense. Or I'll go to Satyaloka. No. He's just saying, in the higher realm, I will meet Dasaratha, who will admonish me. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And in Mahabharata, the reference being given of Swarga. Now, Swarga again means higher realms. And from a regular connotation, the word Swarga may mean the particular heavens. But Madhvacharya and other Vaishnava acharyas have indicated that the word Swarga there actually means Parampadam, the eternal abode, not the materialistic or the material realm called Swarga, because it defies all the comments in Vedas and Vedanta about the destination of great devotees. So Madhvacharya and other acharyas clarify that that Swarga is not the Swarga as we understand within the realm. It is actually the eternal abode.
Oh, okay. That clarifies, bro. I think. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. And the question here is, did Sri Ramachandra and Lakshmana stay in the ashram for some time? Stay means they're searching that area. They didn't stay for days or anything, if that's the question. They were looking in the hermitage, in the area surrounding the hermitage where she would collect flowers and water, and then they started scanning the greater area. Here's a comment. I loved how humanly the pastime of Lord is. It's human psychology to go to the extreme, yes, and think of the worst. When situations are uncertain and unclear, these qualities were exhibited by the Lord when he performed human-like pastimes. Everything comes from God, right? And not only human-like, Krishna's manifestation is human-like. Ramachandra insists he's a human being, and there are ways and means by which we identify and understand that that's the Leela, but he insists he's human. Atmanam Manusham Manye. So, from an external perspective, it looks like a husband wailing for his wife, and which is also true because in the Bhagavatam, Shukadev Goswami tells Parikshit Maharaj, Ramachandra is showing the world the kind of uh, difficulties one goes through being a grahastha. From a Leela perspective is what we are interested in as we are students of Sri Rupa Goswami. And so we see the manifestations of the different types of bhavas or vibhavas in Sri Ramachandra's body. Anything else? Yeah, Krishna was quite henpecked, absolutely.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Bol.
Prabhu, we have quite often we see, especially with respect to the pastimes of the Supreme Lord and his teachings, extremities. If we go with the Bhagavad Gita, we hear from Krishna saying, Matra Sparshasta Kaunteya Shitoshna Sukha Dukkada. Everything, you just tolerate the ups and downs of life there. That's one end. The other extreme, now here we see Lord Ramachandra, who is considered to be an example which human beings ought to follow in their life. And of course, some aspects are Leela alone. Here, he's extremely anguished over the loss of his wife.
Right.
And the conundrum we face is, neither can we be too detached, nor can we exhibit this kind of attachment to our wives, where we wail over everything. Our wives will start expecting the next time they're away for the market, we'll be looking for them. Has the rat hole eaten her or something like that? So these are extremities. But in terms of the middle ground, we see in some sense from the lives of acharyas. But do you recollect some pastimes from the Supreme Lord which talk about middle ground for human beings, or it's all about extremities?
Let's look at this. Excellent question. Let's look at this in a couple of ways. If the Supreme Personality of Godhead hovers around the mean, then his unlimitedness can be questioned. So unlimited has to be near the extremes, correct? Not only 4 sigma, but 6 sigma, perhaps even more. He covers the entire range. And that is why he can be the most forgiving and at the same time very heavily chastising. He can be very docile and tolerant, and he can become very angry. So he has to exhibit all extremes because they are limitless, and therefore they reside in him. If he hovers around the mean, then it does have no meaning. So that's one. But it doesn't mean that he operates only in the extremes. He operates in the entire range, in the entire spectrum or continuum of it. And depending on different circumstances, you will find him hovering or moving throughout the continuum. When he had to kill Ravana, he was there. But before killing Ravana, he was on that extreme that even today, if Ravana comes to me and says, here is Sita, I will personally uh, put him back on the throne of Lanka. Even when he was fighting with Ravana, he shattered. I mean, we don't have the time for Ramachandra's fight with Ravana today, but just very, very glossing over it. Ramachandra single-handedly crushed everything for Ravana: his chariot, the flag, the donkeys, the chariot driver, his armor, his bows, weapons, his arms, heads. Everything was so completely devastated that Ravana's life was hanging by a thread. He brought him to that point, and he could have finished Ravana. Ramachandra stopped and told Ravana, they were almost 10, 15 feet from each other in one sense. Ravana, go back home. Think about this. And let's see what you come back with tomorrow. Meaning, even if at that point Ravana came back with Sita, he would have forgiven him. Went from this extreme to that extreme. And Ravana, fool that he is, could have taken 10 steps and reach Ramachandra's lotus feet and end all of this and continue enjoying unlimited opulence. But the fool turned around and walked multiple miles back to his kingdom, nursing his wounds. Such an idiot. But when we say Ravana is such an idiot, immediate thought is, oh boy, I live like a Ravana every day. The Lord is so easily accessible, but I turn around and I figure out how else to combat situation. But Ramachandra goes from, he hovers through the entire continuum. In our Acharya's pastimes, the great Rupa Goswami also went into raptures of ecstasy. And something that has always seemed peculiar for me or interesting is, in 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, in the verse where Krishna is explaining to Arjuna that one should be very regulated in one's eating, sleeping, recreation, and work, right? And one who lives, I'm going to use the word balanced, but I don't like it, but one who is very regulated in these activities, yogo bhavati dukkha, such a person can overcome all material miseries. And in the purport of all the examples, Prabhupada gives the examples of Rupa Goswami and Haridas Thakur and said they never slept. Here Krishna is saying balanced in the activities of sleeping. That means technically the purport should contain someone who slept 6 hours or 7 hours consistently at the same time every day, got up every day at the same time and did their activities. Prabhupada gives the example of Rupa Goswami and says he never slept. Maybe once in a couple of days, they closed their eyes and took a short nap. I'm adding to it, but that's, or they never ate. Once in a couple of days, they would have a palm full of buttermilk and go about their activity. Haridas Thakur did not stop chanting 24 hours a day. The purport has very extreme example. So the point is that our acharyas were very, very regulated and hovered around the mean in normal circumstances. But they were very capable of pushing the limits of tolerance and austerity that are humanly, perhaps even unimaginable. A third consideration is the verses of tolerance, forgiveness, all that apply to oneself. They're not applicable to someone else. Meaning, if you are going through some difficulty, I cannot tell you, Matra Sparashastu Shamakunda, Sitoshna Sukha Dukkada. I cannot say that. Unless, there is a spiritual master who can speak like that, right? So when it is my situation, I have to remember those verses. Here, his worry is for someone else, for Sitadevi, and Sitadevi who needs one his own companion, but someone under his care. For her, there are extremes. Generally, the picture is because the world revolves around me. When it comes to me, I behave in extremes. And when it comes to others, I operate in the middle, which is exactly the opposite of how it should be. So Shamkun, I want to hear your comments back.
It set me thinking, Prabhu. I need some time to assimilate some aspects. Maybe I may have some more questions. Let me think through it, Prabhu. It helped, but I think I'm having some more questions.
Good. I'm both satisfied and scared at the same time. Satisfied that for now we're there, scared for what else you'll come up with.
No, Prabhu.
Anyone else? Anything on your mind? Okay, sounds like we're satisfied. Generally, I have the experience that over time, I get some texts. You said like this. What does it mean? So if it's there, I'm happy to receive, or when we meet again next week. Thank you for coming back. I had thought I'd lost many of you, and justifiably. But thank you. Until we meet again next Saturday, same time. Take care. Hare Krishna. May Sri Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman inspire us. May we get a atom's worth of, or a mustard seed's worth of appreciation of the kind of love the divine couple shares between themselves and the love they share with us. And hopefully someday, some lifetime, one little drop of tear may appear out of love for them. I'm talking for myself. Thank you. Hare Krishna.